It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think
40.
that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
Joe Rogan revealed shocking news from the boxing world. Mike Tyson reportedly fled the country after being sued. The legendary fighter, once feared in the ring, is now facing backlash for avoiding legal trouble. Following his chaotic bout with Jake Paul, Tyson allegedly chose to escape rather than confront the lawsuit. This unexpected move has left fans disappointed, tarnishing the reputation of the man who once embodied strength and fearlessness in the sport.
Last Friday's big ringside fight could be heading to court. A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix, claiming breach of...
Fans filed a class action lawsuit against Netflix over its portrayal of the chaotic fight, which felt more like a circus than a proper boxing match. This isn't just a random legal dispute, it's a collective backlash against the controversial event.
You know, whatever they're paying him, he's been making good money. You know, he's come back, like I said, in his life. He's done a good job. Him and the people around him. I guess his wife is part of that, obviously, where they've done a good job.
Mike Tyson, once the untouchable and fearsome heavyweight champion, has reportedly fled the country, sparking widespread speculation. This isn't a casual getaway to a tropical island for some are. Instead, Tyson is allegedly avoiding a massive $50 million class action lawsuit that threatens to further damage his already fragile reputation. The legal action stems from the disastrous live stream of his fight with Jake Paul on Netflix, an event criticized for its chaotic execution. Fans are outraged, and Tyson's response has only fueled the controversy.
It was a bit of a shit show, but, you know, what did you expect? Seriously, when you stayed home and you turned on Netflix that night, we were like, holy I'm about to see the greatest live sporting event of all time.
Don't even get me started on the fight itself. It was a joke before the first bell even rang. Who thought pairing a 58-year-old Mike Tyson with a 27-year-old YouTuber turned boxer like Jake Paul was a good idea? Was this supposed to be boxing or a bad episode of reality TV? The whole event felt more like a circus than a legitimate match, leaving even the most devoted fans struggling to take it seriously. But then, things took an even shadier turn.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days.
The drama didn't stop there. Just before the fight, a supposed script leaked on Twitter, sparking rumors that the entire event had been staged, with its outcome already planned.
It went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings. Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened.
Some dismissed the leaked script as nonsense, but doubts lingered. A 58-year-old Tyson appeared sluggish, while Jake Paul's overly dramatic reactions to punches that should have floored him raised eyebrow. It left many wondering if there was something suspicious behind the entire spectacle.
Requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action. He just landed the overhand right, testing the beard of Paul.
Seriously, Tyson landed some solid punches, but Paul's reactions were straight out of a soap opera. He was practically throwing himself around the ring, acting as if every hit was a knockout blow. Fans weren't buying it, and the internet buzzed with skepticism, questioning the fight's authenticity. Was this a legitimate contest, or just a carefully rehearsed performance designed to entertain rather than showcase real boxing?
Last Friday's big ringside fight could be heading to court. A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix, claiming breach of contract after subscribers dealt with buffering issues during the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight.
The backlash was swift, with fans feeling betrayed and questioning if the fight prioritized entertainment and profit over true competition. For a legend like Tyson, the controversy hit especially hard.
I mean, all the people that are, there's a lot of, in Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all time, I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expected. Mike's almost 60 years old.
Amid the unfolding drama, Joe Rogan and other boxing experts were outspoken with their unfiltered opinion.
Which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
Dana White slammed the Tyson-Paul fiasco as a complete disaster, and it's hard to disagree. From the questionable fight conditions and Tyson's performance to leaked script rumors and Netflix's streaming screaming failure, it was a mess.
I do not necessarily think it's a good idea for 57-year-old men to be fighting 27-year-old men.
Boxing experts, usually diplomatic, lined up to criticize everything from the fight's authenticity to shady behind-the-scenes dealing. Some even questioned Tyson's ability to step into the ring, let alone survive an 8-round match at his age.
Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody with him. He didn't maintain that form, and he wound up losing to Buster Douglas. And I look at fighters when they're in their absolute prime.
Behind the scenes, Tyson's health was deteriorating. Just months before the fight, he revealed he nearly died from a severe ulcer, underwent 8 blood transfusions, lost 25 pounds, and struggled with mobility. His condition raised serious concerns.
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah.
20 and
I think.
Despite his alarming health issues, Tyson still agreed to fight, and the $20 million payout likely played a major role in his decision. However, fans couldn't help but question if he should have even stepped into the ring. His sluggish movements during the fight only fueled speculation about his readiness. To make matters worse, Tyson admitted to using marijuana before the match. While he's open about his cannabis use, this revelation raised eyebrows, especially considering Texas's strict anti-doping rules. Did Tyson risk disqualification just to maintain his routine? And if so, what does that say about his mental and physical preparedness for the fight?
Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. TMZ reports the lawsuit is over streaming issues and a breach of contract.
Over 60 million people tuned in to watch the event. 60 million, the entire population of France. And what did Netflix deliver? A buffering nightmare, leaving viewers frustrated and disappointed.
They checked that box. You got hundreds of million people watching the fight. We were all watching the fight. We paid for this service. Check that box as well. But I think it fails again because they all are similarly situated. They could even become a class.
Down Detector, a site that tracks online outages, recorded over 85,000 complaints about Netflix's live stream failing during the event. Fans reported glitches, freezes, and, worst of all, missed major moments of the fight. Imagine paying for a ticket to a show only for the TV to cut out. Just when the action heats up, that's exactly what happened. Viewers couldn't even see the punches, let alone the supposed big upset when Jake Paul, in case you missed it, won by unanimous decision. This wasn't just a technical hiccup, it was Netflix's biggest live sports event ever, with 60 million people expected to watch. Netflix should have been prepared for the demand, but instead was caught scrambling, unable to handle the load, leaving fans frustrated and disappointed.
Last Friday's big ringside fight could be heading to court. A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix, claiming breach of contract after subscribers dealt with buffering issues during the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
And don't think the fans were just sitting quietly, accepting the chaos. No, they were furious. Refund requests flooded in, and social media erupted with complaints and expletives. Fans demanded that Netflix take responsibility for ruining what was supposed to be a monumental moment in boxing. And honestly, who can blame them? They were sold a live-streamed fight, not a 4-hour buffering circle of doom. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan has been exposing the cracks in boxing's shiny facade for a while now. Let's not forget he's been calling out the unpredictability and absurdity of modern boxing. It's becoming clearer by the day his predictions are starting to feel more like prophecy.
What's the latest with the Mike Tyson, Logan? Was it Logan Paul or
Jake
Paul?
Jake's the really good
Tell
boxer.
me about that, because I saw that reported and I got super interested in it, but I haven't looked into it since.
I'm fascinating because it's going to happen and there's nothing I can do to stop it from happening.
Do you want to stop it from
I
happening?
do not necessarily think it's a good idea for 57-year-old men to be fighting 27-year-old men.
Rogan had already voiced serious concerns about Tyson's involvement in the fight against Jake Paul, particularly regarding Tyson's health. After all, just months before the match, Tyson was on the brink of death due to a near-fatal ulcer. But hey, a $20 million paycheck can work wonders for motivation, right?
You'd be like, this kid's the future. He's really something special. And the fact that he's willing to fight Tyson, even if Tyson's 57, just the fact that he's willing to actually take a chance at Mike Tyson not being able to do what he used to.
Rogan doesn't hold back when discussing the exploitation of boxers in high-profile events. He's raised concerns about fighters being thrown into the ring for entertainment value, with the risks often outweighing the rewards, especially when big money is at stake, highlighting the dangerous side of modern boxing.
I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expected. You know, Mike's almost 60 years old. He's Mike Tyson, but he's 60 years old. And He knew that Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him.
The fact that Tyson stepped into the ring despite his health issues highlights how fighters are often pushed beyond their limits for a paycheck. And if there's one person who won't hesitate to call out this kind of exploitation, it's Joe Rogan, who's been outspoken about the dangers in boxing.
It was my fear that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Here's where things get interesting. On his podcast, Rogan recently dropped a bombshell, claiming that Mike Tyson fled the country after being hit with a lawsuit following the disastrous Netflix streaming event. That's a claim that makes anyone stop and think, did Tyson really take off to avoid legal trouble, or is Rogan just stirring the pot? His speculations have set boxing fans into overdrive, questioning if Rogan knows something we don't. Tyson's alleged disappearance has left the boxing world buzzing, giving fans plenty to chew on. Is this a sign of something darker, or just a man trying to escape the noise? Either way, it's one heck of a plot twist in a drama-filled story. If the rumors of Tyson's alleged escape are true, what happens to his legal and professional future? Tyson was once the king of the ring, but now he finds himself tangled in legal troubles. Can he bounce back from these controversies, or is this the beginning of the end? His health issues already putting a strain on his career, now facing potential lawsuits, it's hard to imagine Tyson riding off into the sunset. His legacy may be at risk, and his future in boxing uncertain.
I mean, what he's doing is, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money, and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him, more power to him.
Then there's Jake Paul, who somehow emerged on top of all the chaos, winning his fight with Tyson and pocketing a cool $40 million. The question now is, will he continue his controversial rise in the boxing world?
Tyson's just been beat off Jake Paul. But how? Mike Tyson's an absolute legend and one of the greatest fighters of all time. How can this YouTuber beat such a great fighter? Well, X has spoken.
What about boxing? Will this event, which blurs the lines between legitimate competition and entertainment spectacle, hurt the sport in the long run? Fans are already questioning the integrity of high-profile fights. With all the scandals surrounding Tyson and Jake Paul, the future of the sport is looking uncertain. Big question remains, is Tyson's alleged escape the most shocking twist yet? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Is this the beginning of the end for Tyson, or just another unpredictable chapter in his chaotic journey?